Now, you can take command of Megaforce.
Enemy sighted!
Thorhammer in position!
Steady!
Tanks down!
Fire at will!
Bombs away!
Strato Fortress! Release fighter jet! Backlash bomber closing! Lock on target! Fire one!
Megaforce. Entire armies at your command. Strato Fortress and other vehicles sold separately. You have to put them together. From Kent. Megaforce.
Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover some more Megaforce, Triax style, starting out with Strike Master. This is a gigantic shuttle launching system. I just love this thing. This thing is really cool. I have really got a thing for space shuttles, and I just love this thing. It's just interesting how they were able to integrate crazy technology like that into like a type of military vehicle. It's got a lot of molded detail throughout the entire front portion here. Not to mention has a couple little bitty turret guns here that can actually move back and forth as well. A lot of molded detail within the treads. The treads are very loaded with detail, and just a little bit just here and there throughout the whole thing. I really like this. I do like the idea that the thrusters here have a lot of molded detail within them. You can see a little bitty guns right there kind of molded, and then the shuttle itself actually has some guns molded on it as well on top, and then some tamponing of windows. Not to mention the launch control has windows on it as well. It's very cool. And obviously you can see it can actually have a payload for 2 small tanks. These actually just peg on just with the little port system that I went over with many Megaforce. This actually comes with this particular one right here, this little tank. This is just like Backlash's tank, except for it's green and gray, which is really cool. I like the detail that it has with the little Triax emblem right there, and then a lot of the little red lines painted on the top. Just a lot of detail just molded throughout this whole thing. The detail that they use on some of these smaller vehicles is pretty insane considering the size. A lot of this stuff is like the size of a pinhead that they're actually literally creating detail with. Very neat little tank. But taking a look at the shuttle portion itself, this actually has a launching system where you'll raise the entire vehicle up. This right here would pretty much be like a counterweight the way the front portion here would be. I mean, you can raise it up if you wanted to, depending on how tight this joint here is. This is a little loose on this one here. I happen to have like 3 of these, so this is probably not the best example, but it normally can just set up if you wanted to, but I tend to try to bring it down. It will, I mean, if you really wanted to push it all the way down, you could. So if you wanted to fire at troops down on the ground trying to get to the shuttle, it can. This reveals a lot more detail here throughout the body, which is really sleek, which is interesting that this is like a real sleek design versus, you know, being just kind of a big bulky mess. And the shuttle itself is on a rail system, so it would slide off, revealing a lot of rail detail here. It's a very skinny little tank system though, whenever it's folded all up like this. This base piece here is really neat looking, especially when it's down in retracted form. You know, just it looks like a little, I don't know, it reminds me of some kind of like beetle bug or something. It's just really interesting. Could be like an alligator, I guess. That's just the size of it. I do like it. I like this little piece here a lot. Now, moving on, looking at the shuttle itself, the shuttle is just jam-packed with detail. And it's got really interesting parts to it. The big part that this thing has is a major gimmick that it does. And you got a little lever here on the back. And this lever here, you push it forward and it'll fire off the lower half or the booster portion of the shuttle itself, allowing these wings here to spring out. Really neat, and I do like this portion here a lot. This is where it reveals a lot of the detail, tons of detail throughout this entire thing. Those panel lines all over the place. And not to mention, you can see where the launching system was right here, which it doesn't look as intrusive at all on the bottom. It looks like it might be part of the propulsion system on the bottom, as well as the awesome thrusters here. I do like this part of Strike Master. This is probably one of my favorite pieces to it. Look at this part here, it fired off. It's got this gigantic peg piece here. This obviously plugs into the shuttle. Large boosters. These boosters are insanely detailed. Look at just panel lines all over the place, ribbing here. You got guns that are bolted here. You also have a smaller cockpit here, which tells me that this right here would actually launch off as a booster portion for this to get this more or less in orbit, and then this part right here would actually glide itself back down because of the way the wings are designed. Way back in the 80s and 90s, NASA was actually trying to design a space shuttle that actually had wings that were, you know, in a weird vector like that will allow it to glide back down. So I don't know how crazy accurate aerodynamic that would actually be in real life, but I think it's pretty cool. It's real sci-fi looking. I enjoy it a lot. This thing here actually looks like a crazy fighter from like Battlestar Galactica or something. I really like it. It's very cool. It does have a lot of molded detail throughout the entire thing though. It's just pretty amazing. But I think this is probably one of the coolest Megaforce vehicles there are, just because of the crazy amount of stuff that this one here does. I mean, the other ones do a lot, but this one here really has a lot of play factor, and I think it's probably one that you're really going to want to go out there and hunt up. Things that can be wrong with this thing: first off, the entire firing mechanism for the shuttle could possibly not work. The little guns here on the front of the entire front here possibly could snap off, and just parts being missing. This little tank here is kind of hard to get hold of as well, considering I have 3 of these and only have 1 of these tanks, so that tells you pretty how kind of rare this is to try to find one with the tank. But other than that, sticker wise, yeah, it's going to be difficult to find them with all the stickers. I mean, even the shuttle itself should have stickers all over it. It should actually have the Triax emblems all over it, including on the wings, and it just doesn't, because stickers are very difficult to come by. It'd be really neat to see like the repro labels out there that does like G.I. Joe and stuff like that. If they would go in and actually do an entire Megaforce sticker sheet, maybe for like the entire collection, would be kind of cool. If you just get like one sheet that's got them all, that'd be really neat, because a lot of people out there I think would love that. But this is a really cool gem, especially in a collection of military vehicles, and just, you know, this kind of harks toward the whole Defiant for G.I. Joe and Countdown for Transformer fanatics out there. Anyhow, this has been Plasticon. This has been yet another awesome review of cool Megaforce vehicles and, like, you know, Kenner. And I'll see you guys around, because I have plenty more coming your guys' way. See you around.